We are a generation that was taught many things, but one of the most dangerous lessons we inherited was the confusion between guilt and shame. Our ancestors understood the difference. Guilt is a messenger. Guilt is when the spirit whispers, "You have stepped out of alignment." Guilt says, "Repair what was broken, restore balance, make amends." But shame is something different. Shame says you are the mistake. Guilt corrects behavior. Shame tries to erase the person. In many of our traditions across Africa and the diaspora, the human being is sacred. Among the wisdom traditions of Ifa and Odinani, we understand that every person carries chi, divine essence, a spark of the Creator. So when someone convinces you that you are worthless, broken, or beyond redemption, that is not correction. That is warfare. Our generation, the so-called grown children of late empire, have been raised inside systems that weaponize shame. Institutions use it. Schools use it. Politics uses it. Even families sometimes unknowingly pass it down. Weaponized shame works like this. It tells you that your struggle is a personal failure instead of a collective wound. It tells you your anxiety means you are weak instead of living inside a sick system. It tells you to hide, to shrink, to silence yourself. And when shame succeeds, you stop organizing, you stop dreaming, you stop remembering who you are. But our ancestors left us instructions. In Ifa, they teach that when imbalance enters the community, we do ebo. We make repair. Among many African traditions, we gather in council, we confess harm, we restore harmony. Notice something powerful. The goal is restoration, not humiliation. That is the difference between ancestral justice and colonial punishment. So how do we recognize weaponized shame? Listen carefully. If the voice you hear tells you that you are unworthy of healing, if it tells you that you should isolate yourself from the community, if it tells you that you are permanently flawed, that voice is not your chi, that voice is not your ancestors. That is the echo of systems that needed you to feel small. And confronting shame requires courage, not the loud courage of war, but the quiet courage of truth. You face it, you name it, you say, "Yes, I have made mistakes. Yes, I am still learning, but I refuse to believe that my existence itself is a mistake." Because in African cosmology, existence itself is sacred. The Orisha do not expect perfection. The ancestors expect sincerity. Healing begins the moment we step out of hiding, when we bring our wounds back into the circle, when we speak truth among people who refuse to abandon us. That is how shame loses its power. Our generation is learning something our ancestors always knew. A person cannot heal alone. A people cannot heal in silence. So when shame comes knocking, do not run from it. Interrogate it. Ashe.